Browne, it's a pretty fresh morning here at Riccarton Park. As a horse trainer, you're still getting out and amongst it in this sort of condition, but we stand on the hallowed turf where over 100 years of jumps racing history has been recorded here, and so many great moments, and you've had a few of those. But where does your background come in terms of the jumping fraternity?
Well, basically, Greg, I came over here in April 2005. Tommy Hazlitt and Pam Gerard invited me out to ride jumpers for 3 months, and came out and really enjoyed the place. It's exactly like Ireland. And Tommy got me a licence and rode a couple of winners. And because as much as I learned what I learned in Ireland, working with some good people and some good trainers, you know, New Zealand's different. You're riding on tight tracks, you're riding a lot closer. You know, the good thing about having Tommy was, like you say, his experience, and he could tell you, mate, you were 3 or 4 wide there, you probably need to get in there. And I've been guilty on that on a few occasions, but no, it's been fantastic. And you know, without Tommy and Pam getting me out here, well, I obviously probably wouldn't be standing here today.
The Grand National, you managed to win one with Gargamel, 125th running of the Grand National here at Riccarton Park. What were you thinking on the day, and are you a nervous type of rider? Do you get nerves leading into a race like that?
Always, 100%. If you don't get nervous, there's something wrong with you. I think just the joys of, it's the nervous of the unknown, Greg. You know, it's what if this, what if a horse comes down in front of me? And the horse did come down in front of me, and supercharged. Yeah. And you know, I had to pull to the outside of him, and you know, but I just kept him going and relaxed. I seen Isaac was sort of took off about here with the circuit to go, and I looked up and I had a wee look, and I said, oh, well, he'll come back. Yep. You know, I've ridden here for enough times and rode track walk here for a lot of trainers, and you kind of get to know the track, and you know you're fair away from home when you start going from here. So I just bided me time, but I knew Gargamel would stay. He just loves it. Jumps well, stays well. I knew the more you ride him, the more you'll want to do it. Yeah. And he did. Yeah. You know?
Huge thrill for you, and I remember you coming back and the emotion on your face, and it's still touching you now, isn't it?
Oh, it is, 100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Massive thrill. 220 rides, 14 winners. I think you're underselling your own ability a wee bit. We're going to tap into some of that knowledge and give us an insight into what it's like to ride around the Riccarton country. Let's go out and have a look at each and every fence, and you can tell us the best way to ride them.
Sure.
Brownie out of the straight the first time in the National. This bend, you've got to find your way out towards the Cuts' Brush. Talk me through what that's like.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Yeah. So you'll jump the double, then you look up and you'll look to try and get a position coming around this bend.
How important is it to get your horse balanced and ready to jump this fence?
Very important, Greg. So you come off the bend, you've got to look to, you've got to come out a bit wider. So you'll usually see they'll cut the corner, and then they'll come out a wee bit wider, and then you've got to line up nice and straight for this fence. Keep them nice and balanced.
It takes a horse at speed to be able to get themselves in the right spot. So tell me whereabouts in the fence you're aiming for. It's not always the middle, is it?
Not always the middle, just depending on who's around you and what way you want to ride your race. You know, like everyone should be riding their own race, but 9 times out of 10, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
You know, like horses move around, horses make mistakes, which knocks you back a couple of placings. I think the main thing is just not to panic, and just make sure your own horse is nice and balanced and a nice rhythm. Sometimes you lose that rhythm, like I say, if something makes a mistake in front of you or you're not right, there could be a shadow on the fence. So you'll have a wee look. Sometimes the horse will prick his own ears and have a look.
Just go a little bit wider here, mate, because in the National Steeple, you were just that little bit wider for Gargamel when he ran through. Just want to see where you're lucky you didn't cop the wing.
I reckon I was 4 wide coming around this bend.
Good memory.
But
good
yeah,
memory.
No, it's like I say, if you can, you know, you kind of want to line a bit like this, Greg. So you come out, you come on the side of that wee lip there, and if you're jumping the fence about here, mate, you're in a fantastic spot. You know, you've got plenty on the outside of you, nice wee bit on the inside. You've got room for error. You know what I mean? And you give them a good squeeze. It's about here. You'll give them a squeeze, probably about 2 or 3 strides out. You'll start just giving them a wee squeeze and just letting them know that you want them to jump it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of horses, you kind of got to tell them, hey, you know, buddy, I want you to come up here, or I want you to come up here. A lot of horses will get too close to the fence, which means they'll hit the boards, which they can't get up and over. You know, so they'll hit the boards, which they'll make a mistake, that they'll lose ground or they'll fall. I really like a horse to come up a stride out.
Yeah.
And then he's making ground in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Momentum's a big thing, isn't it?
momentum is a very, very big thing. At the end of the day, if you get close to a fence, you're going to lose momentum. If you wing a fence, that's momentum going forward, especially if you're tired, you know? Yeah. So.
Even this far out from the finish, it can be huge.
100%. If you're going around this course and you're hitting every fence, you're knocking the stuffing out of it. It's like a boxer getting a punch in the guts all day. You know, he's going to lie down eventually, isn't he? But then if you can get him into, like I say, a nice rhythm, nice pop away, nice and balanced, save ground. You know.
It can be the difference, can't it?
Of course it can, 100%, especially in a Grand National. It's a long way. You know, you and I could go for a run and you can go the outside, I'll go the inside.
We'll see who wins, yeah. Coming into Hazlitt's here, whether it's the first or second time that you're getting here, you can see that it's on an angle. So again, is there an ideal spot at the fence where you're looking to jump?
There is, Greg. Look, a lot of people will try and go down the inside, obviously, because it's the shortest route. Yeah. But it's like I say, when I was riding in the race, I chose where I wanted to ride my horse, and I stuck there. Yeah. You know, which was the second or third panel.
Is that what you're looking at? The panels themselves? You're not looking at the height of the fence, you're actually looking to aim up on a panel.
Hey, don't worry about the height of the fence. If you're worrying about the height of the fence, Greg, you need to give
shouldn't
up.
Be out there.
Exactly. The base thing, what you're trying to do is get yourself and your horse around safely. Yep. And that's the thing. So if my horse has got plenty of room, I'm giving him plenty of confidence. So I'm coming into the fence, I'll get a bit low on the saddle, I'll give him a squeeze, he'll jump. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you gather him up again in between the race. Some horses will jump themselves to the front because they're a lot more better jumper than others. You know what I mean? But that's just not necessarily they'll win the race. They mightn't have the heart.
Just looking at these fences, they look fantastic, don't they? The growth in them and how they've been manicured, they look as good as they have in the last few years, don't they?
They have, Greg. They've done a good job here. They've put a new brush into it. I remember a few years ago they used to try and grow bamboo. Right. And you can probably see at the back that sort of the difference in them. They've put some new plants through them. Yep. Which they've actually...
They're a lot more solid, aren't they? They're a lot more... When they brush through them, they're really going to brush through them,
and that's the thing, like, you know, how we usually test fences is we'll give them a wee squeeze like this. Yep. And we'll know how, if you can go halfway in, you'll know that they're pretty loose.
Yes. These aren't.
No, these are pretty solid fences.
Brush test.
Yeah. But, you know, like, this fence is over 1 metre wide. Yeah. You know, it is. This is just a normal fence. You know,
probably about 1.2.
Yeah, even 1.4.
Maybe even a bit more.
Yeah, you know, so, you know.
You got to jump them.
You got to jump them, and that's what the game's about. And look, down here in the South Island, you know, we really like to think that jumpers are hardy. Yep. And they jump big fences, and that's what jumping's all about. You know, winter racing, wet ground.
Jump the bloody things.
Big fences. It's not a sprint.
As we make our way towards shores, are you starting to think about the kennels double? Because of the angles, and when we get closer to that point, we'll see the reasons why I'm saying that, the dynamics of getting to the kennels double. Is it part of your mindset?
It is, Greg, yeah, because there's not much of a run from this fence to the double to get yourself organised.
So far we've had a couple of 100 metres between each fence, but there's not that far from this one to the double.
When you're bowling along at a good race pace, it comes up pretty quick. Yep. So it feels like it's not the same distance.
At this point of the race, when you're on the last lap, you need to be feeling good. The horse needs to be feeling great. So how important is this fence in the context by the time you get around to the other side?
So on your last round you come into here, is your racing. Right. You know, you still need your horse to be relaxed and breathing, but the fourth round has set that up. Yes, has set that up. So your tactics have worked the first round, and you think, right, I've got another round to go. Got a few more fences to jump. We'll up the ante a wee bit.
That appears to me to be about 2 metres tall, Shores, but you don't have to jump that part of it. Let's get to the centre of the fence and the significance of where you need to be when we look down there, Brownie, at the Kennels double ahead.
Yep, it's like I say, Greg, you know, I've ridden my race.
Third
I'm sitting
panel?
at the third panel.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty much centre of the fence. You can look straight down there, you'll see you're going to hit the centre of the first of the double.
You almost have to go left. It's almost not a left turn, but you have to shuffle left to get to the second one.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
You do if you're wide like me.
Yeah.
When Gargamel ran third on Gargamel, he decided he had enough that day and he tried to take on the outside rail, the outside wing. But
what does that feel like? A little bit scary?
Oh, it's not scary. You just go, you little bagger, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Because I've had such a relationship with that horse. You know, when he's having an off day, I know he's having an off day. You know what I mean? It's like being at home with your wife. You know what I mean? You know when she's having an off day. The main thing is try not to lose your balance. You should be able to feel a horse. Like, you should be able to feel a horse come into a fence. If he's not liking something, he's not balanced, he'll change his legs and he'll take a side step. And you'll see that that's what's happened with me.
Yep.
The first of the double. We were 4 wide. The race was on our inside. He decided, I've had enough here. Tried to run off the outside. We did lose ground and momentum, so you've kind of got to get that going again. You know what I mean? Like I said to you, stuff like that will tire a horse out.
Yep.
You know, the shortest way around is breathing, balance, jumping well, you know what I mean? And just having your horse happy in a good position.
Brownie, an incredibly important part of the race, whether it be the first or second lap, but let's concentrate on the second lap because coming to the Kennels double, now when you talk about the setup of these two fences and them being offset, you can really see it as we make our way towards the fence, the first of them.
Yeah, well that's the thing, Greg, and at this part of the race on the second circuit, you know, you're racing, you're going flat out, you know, full tilt into these fences. Marginal, you can't have any errors. You have any errors at these two fences, even the second one, well, I think your race is pretty much over.
It really is a critical part of the race.
It is, because like you say, you can see the offset of these fences. So the horse will jump the first one, but the striding of this fence is not entirely correct. So if you're in close, so if you're in close to the first one, the second one you'll meet it on a spot on stride.
Right.
And vice versa. If you're spot on at the first one, you get close to the second one. So ideally, I'd like to be short at the first one, wing the second one, which means if you wing the second one, you're gaining ground on the back of that fence in the most important part of the race.
Yep. We make our way to the Racecourse Hotel and Motor Lodge Brush, and this one's not as wide as the others, so I'm picking your line. We're actually a bit narrow here, aren't we?
We are, Greg, yeah, and it's like you say, when you come off that fence, you'll see there's a big lip here.
Yep.
You can hug the lip, but you're jumping straight towards that tower.
Yep.
What I usually do, I always walk the course, and every jockey should walk the course in a jumping race before they ride, and then you can pick your line. You know, like if you're right hand on the inside, you'll get horses that are naturally going to jump in on this. So you're either going to get pushed off around that barrel.
Yep.
If you're on the inside, you're going to get other horses from the outside putting pressure on you.
The pressure.
Yep, the pressure from the outside comes in naturally because it's just the way the horses are racing. You know what I mean? So like I say, I like to jump out here. You can see the line. If I jump here, I'll pull my horse a metre in, and I've got a lovely line around that bend to hit Jambo.
Alan, 800 metres from home, and we come to probably the most famous fence here at Riccarton Park, formerly known as Jambo.
Yeah.
Not formally, it is known as Jambo.
It is known as Jambo. Yeah, it's a wee bit. It's still a pretty, very good inviting fence. It's not as big as it used to be, but that's irrelevant. The fence is there to be jumped. You know, when horses are under pressure here, you know, they've got to jump this fence.
Again, it's positioned where you're jumping that way, and yet you've got to go that way.
That's correct, Greg. Yep. So same thing again. It's like I say. Once I walk the course before, like I keep saying, you pick your line, you stick to your line if you can. But sometimes you can move around in races and you can have a look. I like to sometimes come out and have a look and show the horse the fence. Say, hey buddy, there's a big fence coming up. You know, you only have to wheel out, you know, half a metre, give him a look, and he pricks his ears and goes, oh yep, sweet. But what you need to be doing is when you come to this fence, you probably can't see, we probably can't see because we're not on a horse. you can see the line you want to pick around that bend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you come here, you know you can jump straight through here. Like I say again, if you get a better jump on the horses on the inside of you, you can take the ground around that rail.
Yep.
They're going to have to take a pull,
Yeah. Lose momentum, and then you've obviously got momentum going forward down to the last. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when
This is it.
really hotting up about now, isn't it?
It is, like, the year Gargamel ran third, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, there was a group of us, 5 or 6 of us coming to this fence, and it's like, I don't want to be stuck in behind here.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
this is what it's all about.
This is what it's all about.
This is when.
You know, I was fortunate enough, High 40 ran fourth, only because he made a mistake,
Right.
and I took his ground.
Yeah.
I just beat him on the line, but if he didn't make that mistake, I would have ran fourth and he would have ran third.
Yeah.
But like I say, that's racing and that's tactics. That's the joys of walking the track, knowing where you're going, picking your line, especially a big competitive track like Riccarton on Grand National Day. You know?
400 metres from home, or early on in the race is the carriage paddock. It is the first jump, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, so let's talk about getting to the latter part of the race though. You get over that, and of course we're getting close to the stand double the first lap, but just a single fence the second, so she's tough going right about now.
It's tough going now. You've probably running on about empty.
Yep. Now those fences are all movable fences, so they come in and out off the track obviously.
Yep, they come in and off the track, but a few years back now we've put some new pads on the front of most of the movable fences, and it's just a bit more safer for the horses and the jockeys too. Yep. You know what I mean? It's like I say again, we go back to inviting jumps.
Yep. Tell me about the carriage paddock. How inviting is it, and how does it compare to some of the other live fences?
It's not, a live fence to a put-up fence is totally different. The carriage paddock is well packed with broom, so it's quite a stiff fence. If anything, it's probably the most dangerous fence, being it's quite upright and there's not much of a takeoff. So you really need to get your horse to come up, stride out, and it's hard if you have not been talking to your horse all the way around. If you've just been sitting on your horse going the motions, it's hard when your horse gets tired. He's not going to want to listen to you. You know, you need that bond with your horse to say, hey buddy, last one, big jump. Give him a squeeze and he'll wing it. 9 times out of 10, he'll do it. It'll be that one time where the jockey's tired, lack of concentration, the horse is looking for guidance, and the jockey's looking for the horse to give him guidance. It's sort of a, uh-oh, what do we do here? Okay, I'll take a chance. And sometimes it doesn't end well, you know? But like I say, if you jump that fence and you're in front, you still don't win the race.
Just talk me through your emotions and what you're thinking 200 metres off the finish when you were able to win with Gargamel, because at that stage you're trying to get everything out of your horse, but you must be fair dinkum knackered yourself.
Yeah, look, me as a rider, you know, all jockeys need to class themselves as athletes. And if you don't treat yourself like an athlete, you're not going to be able to ride a horse like that. You know, we came to the third last, I was sitting in second, winged the third last, and I thought, switch back to the inside, give him a couple, and he put his head down and tried. Came to the last, and I knew I was wrong. I thought, I seen Zino coming on the outside of me, and when I got a bit close to it, I thought, bugger. But anyway, picked him up, gave him a couple around the ass, galloped down to the last. I sat up and had a look. Tommy always told me, sit up and have a look at the last. And I did. Sat up and had a look at the last, winged the last, and got 2 lengths on him. And then I was looking up for the winning post. Where is it? I said, yeah, couldn't wait for the winning post. But you know, just electric. You know, it's when you hear that crowd roaring, it's fantastic.